When this baby hit miles per hour, you're gonna...
Good evening to you all, and you're very welcome to the long-awaited Big Nerd Lord of the Rings quiz. I'm your guide for this evening, Mark Hughes of the Vestreverlands in the foothill of the Mourne Mountains, and tonight I shall be giving you a quest to test your knowledge on the J.R.R. Tolkien epic Lord of the Rings. It's time now to call together your fellowship and head out into the wilds to see how well you remember everything from hobbits to the Grey Havens. If you're as wise as an elf, you'll ace this quiz, but it might just turn out you're just a hobbit stuck in the Shire and not interested in outside things. Let's find out how worldly or Middle Earthly you are. Let's play the Big Nerd Lord of the Rings quiz. Yes, welcome to the Big Nerd Lord of the Rings quiz, part of the Big Nerd Pub Quiz specialty quizzes. Very, very simple. You can play two different ways. By good old-fashioned pen and paper, there's nothing stopping you doing that. Or you can play the conventional way by clicking on the Google form in the link of the description below. You can play as a team or individually. It's totally up to yourself. Open the Google link, enter your email address, and answer the multiple choice questions as they are asked. 8 rounds, 6 questions each, and there is only one correct answer per question. Once the quiz is finished, simply hit submit. You'll get your scores at the very end, but stick about to see the answers for the quiz. It's recommended that you stream the quiz on a laptop or television and play using the Google form on your phone or other device. Good luck and have some fun. Okay, Big Nerd Pub Quiz, give us a follow on all the different social media channels. Here we're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and very importantly, YouTube. If you're looking for a shout out at any point tonight, and I know we've got some lined up already, get in touch with us via the Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Use the hashtag Big Nerd Pub Quiz, like I said. And share your picks. Let me know where you're playing and how you get on at the end. Love seeing you guys out there play. Always a pleasure to see you guys taking part in these quizzes week in, week out. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're enjoying the Big Nerd Pub Quiz, do share it with all of your friends. Don't forget, Big Nerd Pub Quiz is actually for hire as well. You can hire the quiz format for your social events, office events, charity events. It's the perfect activity for social distancing. It's fully customizable with questions and graphics to suit your needs, and it's very affordable and easy to set up. Like I said, I'm doing my very first corporate gig tomorrow and looking forward to it. Don't forget, you can play any of the specialty quizzes that we've been doing over the last couple of months in the YouTube channel. There's all the playlists are there. Everything from football, Star Trek, Star Wars, Friends, Father Ted, Marvel, DC, Harry Potter. It's all there for you to play. And this is a very, very long-awaited quiz tonight. The general knowledge quiz is now on Sunday nights. So do check that out on 8 p.m. Your chance to win prizes from Big Nerd Pub Quiz t-shirts and crates of beer. That's next week's lineup as well. We've got the Big Nerd Sci-Fi quiz. That's Tuesday the 14th of July. And the Big Nerd Doctor Who quiz. That's on the Thursday the 16th. Both on at 8 p.m. So do check that out. Don't miss it. That's the rest of the month's lineup. Again, we're flying through the month already. Nearly halfway through. We've got a games quiz and a wrestling quiz coming up pretty soon as well. So do look. I'm really looking forward to have you there for that. And you can support the Big Nerd Pub Quiz by buying our awesome merchandise from nornirontees.com. Use the hashtag or use the promo code BIGQUIZ for a 10% discount on that. And you can also support the Big Nerd Pub Quiz by donating to Patreon or PayPal for as little as £1. Quiz is always free to play. However, you can support the work that goes into making it. Massive thanks to everyone out there who's been supporting the quiz. Really, really do appreciate it. It's amazing. And tonight, also a massive thank you to Angelina Manakova from Moscow and Estelle Whiteleaf from Nottingham, who have both written tonight's quiz. They were very, very keen to get the quiz done. In fact, Angelina, she just messaged me and just was like, all right, I've written you a quiz. I was like, amazing. So Estelle has written one as well. So what I've done is I've combined the best of them. And you're in for a really, really tough but challenging and fun quiz tonight. Really hope you enjoy it. And like I said, any feedback, well, you know, I didn't write the quiz. Anyway, only joking. Anyway, I hope you all enjoy your quiz. Hope you're all ready with your pen or paper, or if on the Google form. Let's get ready to play Big Nerd Lord of the Rings quiz. Here we go, round one. And it's all focusing on the characters. Yes, focusing on the very, very integral characters of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. We'll just waste no time and head on to the first question. Here we go, round one, question one. Good luck. So what were the full names of Frodo's three hobbit friends known as Sam, Merry, and Pippin? Nice easy one to start you off with. What are the full names of Frodo's three hobbit friends known as Sam, Merry, and Pippin? So yes. Round one, question number one. So round one, question number two. What is the name of Gollum's cousin, who he killed in order to keep the ring for himself when they found it together? Yes, the two cousins were out fishing when Gollum's cousin found the ring after seeing it glinting in the river. Gollum asked for it, reasoning that it was his birthday and he wanted a present, but he was told no. So he ended up strangling him. But what was the name of Gollum's cousin whom he killed in order to keep the ring for himself? So that's round one, question two. Round one, question three. So which two hobbits does Boromir die defending? So yes, the distracting orcs to cover the group from continuing alone. They put themselves in danger. But which two hobbits does Boromir die defending? It's round one, question number three. Round one, question four. So whose voice is the first one heard in the Fellowship of the Ring? As you know, the opening lines of the Fellowship are spoken in both Elvish and English. And that the explanation of who the original recipients of the ring were, along with the battle that followed, the last alliance of elves and men. Round one, question four. Whose voice is the first one heard in the Fellowship of the Ring? Round one, question four. Moving on to round one, question five. And to kind of counter that one, whose voice is the last one heard in the third movie, Return of the King. As we all know, there's 6 endings in the movie, including 2 different weddings, and one, the pajama party ending, where Frodo wakes up and everyone's in his bedroom. But whose voice is the last one heard in Return of the King? That's the penultimate question of round 1. Round 1, question 5, and your final question of round number 1, number 6 here. So who are Bert, Tom, and Bill? So very simply, round 1, question 6. Who are Bert, Tom, and Bill? Don't worry if you don't know it. There's always 4 options there in your answer sheet. So I always, like I said to everybody, have a guess. All right. So like I said, if you think I'm going too fast, don't worry. You can pause the stream at any point. However, I always go over the questions one more time at the very end. So round 1, question 6. Who are Bert, Tom, and Bill? And your final round up there of round 1 questions. Get us nicely started off with the quiz. So, what are the full names of Frodo's 3 Hobbit friends known as Sam, Merry, and Pippin? Number 2, what is the name of Gollum's cousin, whom he killed in order to keep the ring for himself when they found it together? 3, which 2 hobbits does Boromir die defending? 4, whose voice is the first one heard in the Fellowship of the Ring? 5, whose voice is the last one heard in the Return of the King? And 6, who are Bert, Tom, and Bill? Alright, so yes, 1 down, 7 to go. Hope you're all enjoying tonight's quiz. Like I said, if you want a shout out or get in touch with me at any point, do follow me on all the different social media channels here. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel by hitting the button down there below. Also, there's the bell button as well, which you can hit for notifications of upcoming quizzes that we're doing. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep them doing the quizzes as many times as I can over the next couple of weeks before moving into August. And if we move out of lockdown, hopefully, but probably boil it down to 1 quiz a week. But like I said, I'm glad I've been keeping everyone nice and entertained over the last couple of weeks. Anyway, here we go. Here's our next round here. Round 2 of the Big Nerd Lord of the Rings quiz. And it's all about by the numbers. Yes, it's a very curiously numbered round here. So round 2, it's all about your kind of facts and figures of the Lord of the Rings saga, as it were. So here we go. Round 2, question 1. You'll understand what I mean when you get into it. So here we go. Round 2, question number 1. So the story is about the quest to destroy the One Ring. But how many rings of power were there in total? I know what you're all doing. You're doing the rhyme in your head. Yes. You know the rhyme. Do the maths. There was the rings for the elven kings under the sky. There were rings for the dwarf lords in their halls of stone. There were ones for the mortal men doomed to die. One for the Dark Lord and his dark throne. In the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. That's round 2, question 1. But do the math on this one. Round 2, question 1. How many rings of power were there in total? Round 2, question 2. In the 3 films, how many times does Frodo put the ring on? So this is in the movies now. According to the books, he actually wears it on 2 more occasions. It's a good question, this. But round 2, question 2. In the 3 movies, how many times does Frodo put the ring on? It's round 2, question 2. Moving on to round 2, question 3. You might have got a little bit of a glimpse of it there. This is an interesting one, right? How many times does Gollum say the word precious during the movie The Two Towers? Precious. Yes, round 2, question 3. How many times does Gollum say the word precious during the movie The Two Towers? He calls the ring his precious, of course. But he does also use the term to refer to himself when his other identity are conversing and arguing with each other. So how many times does Gollum say the word precious during the movie The Two Towers? I think the best way, if you don't know it, take an educated guess. It is a good question. Round 2, question 4. Galadriel gives gifts to the Fellowship in Lothlorien, but confesses she doesn't know what to give a dwarf. He asks her for some of her hair, but how much does she give him? Yeah, but Gimli wasn't the first person to ask Galadriel for some of her hair. The elf Fëanor. There's a whole other book about this. In the Silmarillion, actually. I had actually previously asked her, and she said no. But round 2, question 4. Galadriel gives gifts to the Fellowship in Lothlorien, but confesses she doesn't know what to give a dwarf. He asks her for some of her hair, but how much does she give him? That's round 2, question 4. Round 2, question 5. It is said that one mouthful of lembas, elvish whey bread, can fill the stomach of a grown man. But how many pieces did Pippin admit to eating? Yes, we all know hobbits have big appetites, eating 7 meals a day. It's no surprise that a hobbit could eat more lembas than an elf or even a man. But even Pippin kind of admits he's kind of bitten off more than he can chew in this particular one. But yes, round 2, question 5 says that one mouthful of lembas bread can fill the stomach of a grown man. But how many pieces did Pippin admit to eating? That's round 2, question 5. And that's not the first question, or first kind of theme we're going to have about food. There might be a little hint of what's going to come up later on. And finally, your final question of this round, round 2, question 6. How many different owners did the One Ring have before it was eventually destroyed? So, round 2, question 6. How many different owners did the One Ring have before it was eventually destroyed? So the rings changed about several times. Most of them are relatively recent in terms of its lifespan. We can go over it. Again, we do have the answer here and the ins and outs of it. But yes, how many different owners did the One Ring have before it was eventually destroyed? And there's your round 2 roundup there. So round 2, question 1. The story is about the quest to destroy the One Ring, but how many rings of power were there in total? 2. In the 3 movies, how many times does Frodo put on the ring? 3. How many times has Gollum said the word precious in the movie The Two Towers? 4. How many strands of hair, or how much hair does Galadriel give to Gimli? Number 5. How many pieces did Pippin eat? Or how many pieces of lembas did Pippin admit to eating? And number 6. How many different owners did the One Ring have before it was eventually destroyed? Alright, I do apologise if I'm not getting any of the pronunciations right. Like I said, it was like, I like Lord of the Rings, but I wouldn't say I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan. Like, that's where Angelina and Estelle actually wrote this fantastic quiz for me, and a massive thanks again to them for doing it. I really, really do appreciate it. But I know you big fans out there are massive fans of the quiz. It's of the trilogy and the Hobbit and all the books that go with it. So do let me know if I'm. Do let me know. Do go easy on me. All right. So we're down 2 rounds down. We've got 6 more to go, and here we go. Keep the shout outs coming in, like I said. Round 3. It's a quotes round. Yes. So round 3. Who said what? Yes. Very, very basic quotes round here. Going to give you a quote from the movie. All you have to do is figure out who said it. So here we go. Round 3. Question number 1. And I think this is probably the easiest one. This is the most memeable of all the quotes. But one does not simply walk to Mordor. I love this Google map. But it's pointed out that the image that goes with the meme is actually from a few lines later on, when the character is actually saying the great eye of Sauron is ever watchful. And that's why you simply can't walk to Mordor. Apparently, the distance is the equivalent of walking from Los Angeles to Chicago. If you could ever even try that. But round 3, question 1. One does not simply walk to Mordor. Round 3, question 2. Potatoes. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. So there we go. Potatoes. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Who says that line? Round 3, question 2. Round 3, question 3. I know what it is you saw, for it is also in my mind. So round 3, question 3. I know what it is you saw, for it is also in my mind. Round 3, question 3. Round 3, question number 4. I don't think he knows about second breakfast. So yes, hobbits eat 7 meals a day. There's breakfast, second breakfast, 11s, luncheon, afternoon tea, dinner, and supper. So round 3, question 4. I don't think he knows about second breakfasts. I have second breakfast and third breakfast. Round 3, question 5. Do identify with hobbits quite a lot. You need people of intelligence on this sort of mission quest thing. So yes, round 3, question 5. You need people of intelligence on this sort of mission quest thing. Round 3, question 5. And your final question here of quotes. So 9 companions, so be it. You shall be the Fellowship of the Ring. So yes, after the council is done and the decision is made for Frodo to take the ring himself to Mordor, this pronouncement makes up the Fellowship group and starts them preparing for their journey from Rivendell, possibly the most famous scene one of the most famous scenes in the movie. 9 companions, so be it. You shall be the Fellowship of the Ring. Okay, so just quick roundup of those quotes there before we move on to the next round. 1 does not simply walk to Mordor, number 1. Number 2, potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew is number 2. 3, I know what it is you saw, for it is also in my mind. 4, I don't think he knows about second breakfast. 5, you need people of intelligence on this sort of mission quest thing. And 6, 9 companions, so be it. You shall be the Fellowship of the Ring. Alright, so there we go. That's your quotes round. Like I said, we couldn't do a movie or kind of one about big epic, dramas and not have a quotes round. Like we always do stick those in to the quizzes here on the Big Nerd Pub Quiz. Okay, 1 more round to go before we reach halftime. So in case you guys are wondering, you newbies out there who are playing the Big Nerd Pub Quiz for the first time, it's yes, the quiz always lasts for about an hour, and I do want to get it done before 9 o'clock because I have to run out and get a pizza before the shop shuts. I have ordered it, and yes, I'm off to get it as soon as it's done. So anyway, thanks for joining me on Big Nerd Pub Quiz. And like I said, if you've played, this is your first time playing, thank you very much for joining. Don't forget, there's more quizzes that you can play at any time. All you have to do is go to the channel and check out the playlists. Whatever you're into, whatever fandom you're into, we've got it covered. Alright, we'll do loads of different shout outs and all after this when we reach halftime. We'll move on to the next round, and this next particular round actually kind of ties into the previous one, so kind of like a reverse quotes round. This one is, who are you talking to? It's round 4. So yes, I'm going to show you a still from the movie. It's going to feature a particular character of the film, and they're talking to someone off camera. So who are they talking to? That's the question I'm going to be asking here. So round 4, question number 1. Get the drift. So Frodo's conversing with somebody here. Who is it? Round 4, question 1. Elijah Wood's, interestingly enough, Elijah Wood's first ever film role when he was about 7 or 8 years old. And it was in the movie Back to the Future 2. He's the little kid in the Cafe 80s when they go into the future. And he's there playing the retro video game. It's like, you mean you gotta use your hands? That's like a baby's toy. But yes, Elijah Wood had previously seen fame with other movies such as North. Do you remember North? That was a weird one. Deep Impact. What's that one? The Faculty. Remember, isn't he in The Faculty? Round 4, question 1. Yeah, I love Elijah Wood. He's a great actor. But who's he talking to here? Round 4, question 1. Frodo. Merry. Who's Merry talking to in this particular scene? I know if you've had time off, you would have watched and rewatched the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I know someone was actually saying to me during the week there that they were prepping for the quiz. Louise was texting me. She says, yes, I've been swatting up for this one. For round 4, question 2. Merry here. Who's he talking to? Round 4, question 3. Gimli. And I think if, even as a non-fan, I would know this just because it's one of those scenes. It's side-splittingly amazing. So round 4, question 3. Gimli. I think you even know the line. Yeah. That's a very famous moment in the movie. Round 4, question 3. Round 4, question 4. Sam. Who's he talking to here in this particular scene? So round 4, question 4. Sam. Round 4, question 5. Eowyn. Who's she speaking to here? Just kind of have to mind map these scenes in your head and kind of... If you've seen them about 100 times, then this will be really easy for you. So round 4, question 5. Eowyn. And apologies if I'm not getting the pronunciations correct, but I am a bit of a noob. And your final one of this one, Elrond. Of course, played by Hugo Weaving, the Australian actor. Also famous for Mr. Anderson in the Matrix trilogy. Agent Smith. And he's the sheepdog in Babe the Pig. Yeah, serious. Watch it again. If you don't believe me, it's him. He's got that kind of gruff voice. I think he might have been in Neighbours or Home and Away. Someone fact check that for me. Round 4, question 6. And here we'll go through those one more time. So we got Frodo. Who's he talking to here? Round 4, question 1. Round 4, question 2. Merry. Round 4, question 3. Gimli. Round 4, question 4. Sam. Round 4, question 5. Eowyn. And round 4, question 6. Elrond. Elrond Hubbard. No, it's not Elrond Hubbard. Anyway. Anyway, so yes, that kind of, those two rounds kind of like very complement each other. In one that's a quote, and then the other one's who the other character's speaking to. I really enjoyed that. Thanks very much. Anyway, we've come to the halfway point of the quiz. Like I said, it's just coming up to 8:30. Like I said, the quiz will bring us up to around about 10 to 9, and then we'll stick about to the very end because you don't get your answers until the very, very end of the quiz. All right. So a couple of little points of order, like I always do during this quiz. A couple of wee things that you have to check out and support. These are my friends' projects here. The Spotify, Podbean, and Apple Podcasts. You can find the Stuck in Here With You podcast. My buddy Jez, who's actually from New Zealand, he should be watching this tonight. Big shout out to him if he is. Also, check out my buddy's podcast, The Hot Topic Nightmare. It's a really fun podcast where he gets his group of friends to do a topic about something they don't really know much about, and they have to talk about it at length. It's kind of like the Just a Minute quiz on Radio 4. Do check that out on Mixcloud. Also, a big shout out to the guys at Banterflex and Fright Club. Banterflex have been partnership with me, and they've written 2 quizzes for myself, the Disney one and the movie one. And Fright Club did an amazing horror movie quiz. If you're into your horror movie quizzes or you're into your horror movies, check out the Fright Club. They're a great blog and they've got a great Twitter feed there at the Fright Club NI. And like I said, if you're into your horror movies, do check out that quiz. It's really good, as well as the Banterflex movie and Disney quizzes, which you can all find in the YouTube link. Also, check out the Nerd Party. My buddy Lee curates this fantastic list of geeky podcasts for whatever fandom you're into. Also, check out my radio show that I'm doing now every morning from 7 till 10 on Zest FM. It's a brand new radio station online. It's zestfm.co.uk. If you like your cheesy 80s hits, then check it out. I'm playing all of those from 7 o'clock till 10 every weekday morning. That's the breakfast show with me, Mark Hughes, every morning on Zest FM. You can download an app and listen to it online as well, and do get in touch with the station. And there's loads of cool prizes that we give away on that too. You can also support the Big Nerd Pub Quiz by buying the merchandise that you see that I'm sporting tonight, and that's supplied exclusively from northerntees.com. Use the code BIGQUIZ for a 10% discount. And support the Big Nerd Pub Quiz. As I said, the model of soundness. Like if you saw me down the street and you'd like to buy the price of a coffee or a pint, by all means, do chuck us in a little bit there. So thank you very much. And you can see very nice Big Nerd Pub Quiz t-shirts. All right, a couple of wee shout-outs to give tonight. Can we give Conal O'Neill in Warren Point, aged 4. He's a Lord of the Rings expert. My gosh. Like, that's from Neil. Good to hear from you, buddy. Mark Piccolo, he's been dying to watch this. And he shared me a photograph of his hallway. He's got, like, posters of Middle Earth and everything on it. Fantastic. Good to hear from you tonight. And, yes, thank you so much for tuning in. Who else have we got here? We've got Deirdre, and Deirdre said she's playing solo in Cloughy in County Down, and she's loving the quizzes. Good to hear from you. And one more shout out before we move on. It was enjoying the quiz. Greetings from Patricia, Joe, and Elena and Team Owens. Joe Owens is ready for tonight's quiz, and he's got a lovely pint there. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll get as many shout outs as I can done over the next couple of minutes or next couple of rounds. But yes, thank you for tuning in and texting. If you want a shout out, do get in touch with me via the Instagram or Facebook. Alright, we're going to mosey on, waste no more time, and move on to round 5, locations and places, here on Big Nerd Lord of the Rings quiz. Alright, like I said before, 6 questions all about locations and places in Lord of the Rings. And like I said, it's rather epic. Here we go, round 5, question 1. What is the name of the inn at Bree where the hobbits spend the night? Yes, this is where the hobbits first meet Aragorn. It's called Strider at that point. They eventually stay across the road, and Aragorn watches the wraiths attack the room they're meant to be in. Director Peter Jackson also has a cameo as a drunk man with a carrot as the hobbits first enter the town in the rain. That's round 5, question 1. What is the name of the inn at Bree where the hobbits spend the night? Round 5, question 2. So what local bar do Merry and Pippin frequent that is home to the only ale for the brave and true? So their local pub in the village of Bywater. Sam and Frodo have another local in Hobbiton. There's a lot of pubs. It's kind of like my village. You've come to my village in Westrevor. It's very, very like that. We're all very small, Hobbit-esque, as I would say. And we live beside loads of mountains and big forests. Yeah, it's very Lord of the Rings-esque. And we've got loads of pubs. But what local bar do Merry and Pippin frequent that is home to the only ale for the brave and true? That's round 5, question 2. Round 5, question 3. On their travels, the Fellowship are only ever seen sleeping under a tent once. Where are they when they're sleeping in that little tent marquee? Most of the time they sleep outside under rocks or caves. But at one point they do sleep in a tent. But where are they when they're doing that? Round 5, question 3. Round 5, question 4. What is the name of the forest in which Merry and Pippin make a very large new friend? Yes, home of the Ents, including Treebeard. And they escape their orc captors. I love the scenes with the Ents. I actually think that they're hilarious. Round 5, question 4. What is the name of the forest in which Merry and Pippin make a large new friend? It's round 5, question 4. Round 5, question 5. Faramir takes Sam and Frodo to a cave in Henneth Anun. But what hides the cave from a view? So what hides this particular cave? So round 5, question 5. Faramir takes Sam and Frodo to a cave in Henneth Anun. But what hides the cave from view? And your final question about locations in Lord of the Rings, round 5, question 6. After telling Frodo and Sam to leave the Shire, Gandalf disappears, but where does he later meet up with them again? So Gandalf tells Frodo and co to leave the Shire and heads off to do some of his own research. So in the books he's given a message by Radagast that Saruman wants to talk to him, but in the movies he actually goes to see Saruman on his own to get the information. Saruman takes him prisoner, of course, and keeps him on the roof. And Gandalf's eventually rescued later on. But where does he later meet up with Frodo and Sam? It's round 5, question 6. And there's your roundup of location questions there. What is the name of the inn at Bree where the hobbits spend the night? Number 1. Number 2. What local bar do Merry and Pippin frequent that's home to the only ale for the brave and true? Number 3. On their travels, the Fellowship are only ever seen sleeping under a tent once. Where are they when they do that? Number 4. What is the name of the forest in which Merry and Pippin make a large new friend? 5. Faramir takes Sam and Frodo to a cave in Henneth Anun. But what hides the cave from view? And finally, number 6. After traveling, Frodo and Sam after telling Frodo and Sam to leave the Shire, Gandalf disappears. Where does he later meet up with our intrepid explorers? All right, so there's your locations lined up there. Ashley's texted in. She's basically said she's loving the quiz. Lord of the Rings nerds here in Edinburgh. Ash and Patty, give us a shout out. Good to hear from you guys. Also, Dana, a buddy of mine from the Star Trek conventions. I know she's watching tonight. She's been really looking forward to this. Louise is watching as well. I know that because she's been a massive Lord of the Rings fan. Stephanie, if you're watching, good to hear from you as well. But Dean Jones is tuned in as well. He's a massive fan of the quizzes. He was playing the TV quiz earlier on in the week. Good to hear from you, buddy. Yes, loads of people tuning in. And like I said, big thanks again to Angelina and Estelle. Angelina all the way out in Moscow doing this quiz, and she's obviously written half of it, so she'll do quite well as Estelle, who's actually written another big chunk of it too. But anyway, thanks very much. Going to move swiftly on to round number 6. We couldn't have a Lord of the Rings quiz without all about the rings themselves. So here we go. Questions all about the very famous rings of Lord of the Rings. Here we go. Round 6, question number 1. So for how many years did Bilbo have the One Ring? Round 6, question 1. For how many years did Bilbo Baggins, have the One Ring? Ian Holm there, the actor who plays the older Bilbo, very sadly passed away there recently. He was very famous in appearing in movies such as Alien. And he turns up in the Harry Potter series, doesn't he? Yes, but one of those acclaimed English actors. But how many years did Bilbo have the One Ring? Round 6, question 1. Round 6, question 2. Where was the One Ring after Isildur's death? So round 6, question 2. Where was the One Ring after Isildur's death? Round 6, question 2. Round 6, question 3. On which finger does Sauron wear the One Ring during the last battle with Isildur? So again, this is a very visual one. You have to kind of, again, go back into your mind memory there. 4 options there on your answer sheet. But on which finger does Sauron wear the One Ring during the last battle with Isildur? Round 6, question 4. How many times during the trilogy was the One Ring on Oradoran, the Sammath Nar Hall? Okay. How many times? Again, this is like something a little bit out of my comfort zone in terms of the old pronunciations. But anyway, round 6, question 4. How many times during the trilogy was the One Ring on Oradoran, the Sammath Nar Hall? You guys will know what that means. Again, yes. Round 6, question 4. Round 6, question 5. So who has never been a keeper of the Rings of Power? So round 6, question 5. So out of your options there on your answer sheet, who has never been a keeper of the Rings of Power? Round 6, question 6. And it's a very interesting one. Again, this is one to kind of bear in mind. But who is the 4th bearer of the One Ring? Round 6, question 6. Who is the 4th bearer of the One Ring? And there's your roundup there of questions all about rings in Lord of the Rings. So, number 1, for how many years did Bilbo Baggins have the One Ring? 2, where was the One Ring after Isildur's death? 3, on which finger does Sauron wear the One Ring during the last battle with Isildur? 4, how many times during the trilogy was the One Ring on Oradoran, the Sammath Nar Hall? 5, who has never been a keeper of the Rings of Power? And 6, who is the 4th bearer of the One Ring? Like I said, we're motoring on here. We're down to the 6th round there. 2 more to go. Let's have a wee look and see if there's any more. Rebecca McCarran says, can you give a big shout out to the McCarrans tonight? And she's playing... where are you guys playing? She was actually previously playing with Stephen Emer and Becky, Ray and Christine. But I think that was from another quiz. Anyway, but good to hear from you again, Rebecca. Let's see. Ash is playing as well. We've got Emily. She says, can we get a shout out to the Faircloughs, who are all playing throughout Scotland tonight? And that's from Emily. Good to hear from you. And big shout out to Ben in Hull, who's been chilling to your quiz before his operation next week. Good luck for that, mate. And that's from Wendy. Thank you so much for all your texts. Like, do keep them coming in. Like I said, best way to do it is via the instant messenger on Facebook and Instagram. I'll have a wee look at the Twitter before the end of round 8. I promise, for any of you guys who are texting in via that. I do always forget it. Anyway, 2 more rounds to go. Round 7 is a really cool one. This one's going to test your behind-the-scenes knowledge of one of the greatest trilogies ever made. And I know you guys at Banterflex are really, really keen on your behind-the-scenes knowledge. Let's give this one a go here. So round 7, question 1. So yes, who is the only member of the cast who've actually met J.R.R. Tolkien? It was by chance. There's an anecdotal story that I was reading up about it. And yes, right enough, these 2 characters crossed paths, but it's the only member of the cast or crew to have actually met J.R.R. Tolkien. Round 7, question 1. It was in a bar in Oxford. Round 7, question 2. There was a lot of armour made for the films over the several years that was making the movie, but how many people were employed full-time to make chainmail by linking the metal rings together? This is interesting, but this is like a little interesting little factoid. But yes, a lot of armour made for the movie over the several years that they were making the movies, but how many people were employed full-time to actually make all the chainmail, linking all the little rings together? Round 7, question 3. Which actor climbed the mountain on his own in costume, whilst the rest of the cast were flown by helicopter to film the snowy scenes on Mount Cardras? Rather epic, I have to say. And it was due to the fact that actually they were afraid of flying in helicopters. So yes, no for changing facilities up there. It just meant him getting up a little bit earlier, getting into makeup, then walking and climbing. Comments are in the DVD commentary tracks. And watching this character actually climb up the mountain in full gear, shield and weapons. Unbelievable. Round 7, question 3. Round 7, question 4. How many acres of land did the exterior set of Hobbit cover? Yes, the actual set itself has become a tourist attraction in New Zealand, where the movies were shot. Round 7, question 4. How many acres of land did the exterior set of Hobbit cover? 2. Who composed the music for the Lord of the Rings trilogy? The music you're hearing right now is actually not the music anything to do with that. It's a licensed, royalty-free music that I've gotten from Epidemic Sounds. If you're a YouTuber out there, do consider using them. They have an absolutely amazing library of tunes which you can look at in terms of, you can just look up in terms of emotions or genre or like mood. It's really, really, really great website and really affordable as well. It's got as much as a Spotify subscription, and if you're a frequent YouTuber like myself, then it's worth investing. That's Epidemic Sounds. Round 7, question 5. Who composed the music for this trilogy? And round 7, question 6. Some multiple pairs of Hobbit feet were made for the 4 main Hobbits. But how many pairs were made during the course of the production of the movies? They're actually made from the molds of the actors' feet. They were cast in latex, cooked to set the rubber, and then the hair was all kind of put in there afterwards. Yeah, they weren't actually that durable, apparently. So there's loads of scenes where their feet aren't actually shown. So the actors didn't have to wear them all the time. It's round 7, question 6. Anyway, that's your roundup there of round 7 behind the scenes questions. One more round to go. So who's the only member of the cast to have actually met J.R.R. Tolkien? Number 2, there was a lot of armor made over the movies, but how many people were employed to make the chainmail? 3, which actor climbed the Mount Cardaras on his own in full makeup and costume? 4, how many acres of land did the exterior set of Hobbit cover? Who composed the music of the Lord of the Rings trilogy? Number 5, and number 6, how many pairs of feet were actually made for the Lord of the Rings movies? They wouldn't have needed to do it with mine. I have incredibly hairy feet. Anyway, didn't really need to know that. Anyway, we've got one more round for you here in the Lord of the Rings quiz. And bear in mind, I've left this tricky one till the very, very end. Remember earlier on we were talking about the Lord of the Rings it's got a lot of food in it. And yes, you could probably make up meals of these a lot of the recipes and kind of all the bits and bobs of this. But I've left this one to the very end. And let's see how you get on, right? This will test your kind of visual memory of the kind of timeline of the movie. But round 8, your final round, is all about meal times. Yes, and it's a multi-picture round. I'm going to show you 8, not 6, but 8 different meals which happen over the course of the trilogy. You've got to put them in order in which they happen. They're all lettered. So put them in order in which you see. So if you think, you know, you'll see them up there. They're all scrambled. I'm going to leave them up there for a couple of minutes before moving on to the final round itself. Oh, but this is the final round. But moving on to the answers afterwards. Take your time with it. I'm going to leave it up for a good couple of minutes for you can just to absorb it. And let's waste no time, like so I said. Arrange the characters' meals in chronological order, starting from the first in the Fellowship all the way to the last in the Return of the King. So yes, characters are very, very obsessed with dinner time. I will confess this is Angelina's idea for a round. I think it's very clever. But they're all lettered. So all you have to do is put them in order. So if you think A is number 1, put it at number 1. If you think B is number 2, put it at number 2. You understand how this works. I'm going to... Time is with me, it's 20:47 on my clock. I'm going to leave this up for 3 minutes or so. Don't worry, you can pause the quiz at any point. But take in what you see in there. A lot of dinners and a lot of food in Lord of the Rings. Which is good. You know, it's good to see that they're all eating during these big quests. But yes, put those meals in order in which they happen. It's a timeline quiz. You can kind of work out the scenes. You can kind of work out which movies they happen in. This will really see. This is the quiz that'll really, you know, want to rule them all here. Big shout out to Claire Carroll who's watching tonight. She says, 40 minutes till I get my butt whooped in this one. It's the one quiz I've most wanted, yet the most I fear. I'm going to keep working right up until 8 p.m. and then my favourite t-shirt is coming out. Well, good to hear from you, Claire. Hope you're enjoying this one. Hope you're not finding this one too hard. Big shout out to the Banterflex guys who I know are watching. Tommy McGuire who I know are watching as well. All my London crew who are tuned in tonight. So yeah, this is tough. This is a tough round. Este's actually saying the other writer of the quiz in Nottingham, she's actually liking this one. Angelina in Moscow, she's just said here that she's quite enjoying this. And she's also told me that apparently, yes, Hugo Weaving was in Home and Away. He played a character called Indigo Walker. Amazing. Love hearing the stuff like that. If I've forgotten to give you a shout out at any point, I do apologise. Like I said, I do get so many, and a lot of people who text in like weeks in advance and do a little shout out for the Lord of the Rings quiz, and then I completely forget. But yes, round 8. Arrange the characters' meals in chronological order from the first to the last. So once you're done, you'll hit submit on the Google answer sheet. You'll get your scores immediately. But stick about, because you want to hear the answers, right? You want to see how you get on. Anyway, you're all very, very fantastic. Okay, a couple of more minutes on that, and then we're going to move on to the next. We're going to move on to the answers. Yes, Dean Jones has actually been saying he's been watching the trilogy back to back over the last few days. But yes, mate, just look at those scenes. Try to put them in order in which you see them. All right, 1 or 2 more seconds left on that, and then we're going to round up the quiz for this evening. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, that was the Big Nerd Lord of the Rings quiz. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Massive round of applause to Angelina and Still for writing those amazing questions. Like I said, I couldn't have done it without them. It would have taken me ages to kind of come up with a quiz that was near the level of Lord of the Rings fandom that those guys have. And like I said, I hope you guys out there really appreciated the hard work they've done. Thank you so much for all that research and all the image research as well, because that takes a long time. Thank you again, and thank you to you guys for playing tonight. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know. Give me some feedback here. Let me know, constructive or otherwise. I do always love hearing from you guys. And let me know how you got on as well. Put it up there on your Facebook or Instagrams and let me know what score you got, because I'm always keen to see how you did. Was it too hard? Was it too easy? Anyway, so waste more time. Here are tonight's answers. Are you all ready? Right? Okay, so let's do it. Let's see the answers for tonight's Lord of the Rings quiz. So yes, I've got to go back to my notes here because there's so many questions which I kind of have to look at and just go back. So the very first question here tonight. So the actual names there were Samwise, Peregrine, Meriadoc. Terrible these pronunciations. Diego is the cousin of Smeagol, or Gollum, who gets strangled. Merry and Pippin are the 2 hobbits that Boromir dies defending. The first voice heard in the Fellowship of the Ring is Gladriel. And the last is Sam. Bert and Tom and Bill are trolls that Bilbo meet in The Hobbit turned to stone near Rivendell. Round 2 answers. There are 20 rings in total. Over the 3 movies, Frodo puts on the ring 4 times. Gollum says the word precious apparently 16 times in the 2 towers. Again, very, very tough question there. Gladriel gives 3 strands of hair to the dwarf. Pippin eats 4 mouthfuls of lembas whey bread. And the One Ring has 6 owners before it was destroyed. Your quotes there: one does not simply walk to Mordor, Boromir. Potatoes, that was Sam. I know it was you, for it was you, also you in my mind, is Galadriel. I think he doesn't know about second breakfast, is Merry. You need people of intelligence for this mission quest thing, is Pippin. And 9 companions, so be it, you shall be the Fellowship of the Ring. So who's talking to who? So Frodo's talking to Faramir. Merry's talking to Treebeard. Gimli's talking to Legolas in that famous scene. Sam's talking to Gandalf. Eowyn's talking to Merry. And Elrond is talking to Aragorn. Round 5 answers. The bar, the inn which they go into in Bree is the Prancing Pony. The Green Dragon is the Merry and Pippin's local. Lothorian is the only place where the Fellowship sleep in a tent. Merry and Pippin meet Treebeard in Fangorn Forest. The cave is hidden by a waterfall. And Rivendell is where Gandalf meets up with the rest of the guys there in question 6 there. Question all about rings. Bilbo Baggins had the ring for 60 years. The One Ring was in the Gladden River after Isildur's death. Sauron wears the ring in the index finger of his right hand. So the One Ring was on Orodruin. It was 3 times. Sauron created it. Elrond and Isildur, obviously, and then Frodo, Sam, and Gollum at the end. Saruman was never a keeper of the Rings of Power. The options there were Galadriel, Saruman, Elrond, and the Witch King of Angmar. And the 4th bearer of the One Ring is Gollum. Alright, your behind the scenes questions there. Christopher Lee is the only actor to have actually met J.R. Tolkien. He plays Saruman. There's actually 2 people. Only 2 people have made the chainmail. Sean Bean was afraid of helicopters and wouldn't go up to the mountain there. So he climbed it up. The Hobbiton is 10 acres big. Howard Shore composed the music for Lord of the Rings. And 1,800 pairs of Hobbit feet were made. And your round 8 answers. There's the order there which they appear. F is first. Followed by C. Followed by D. Then G. A. H. B. And E. So those are the order in which those meals happen in Lord of the Rings. A very, very clever round there. Thought I'd leave those up there for you to take in. So let me know how you got on in the quiz. Post it up on Facebook, post it up on Instagram. And if, like I said, if you enjoyed the quiz tonight and you want to challenge your friends on all the Lord of the Rings quizzes or anything else on the Big Nerd Pub Quiz channel, then do like and share the channel. And you can play these quizzes at any time you want. That's the best thing about them. Yes, we do them live, but like I said, you can play the Big Nerd Pub Quiz at any time you want. Like I said, there's loads more quizzes coming up over the next couple of weeks. So do stay tuned, do subscribe, and do like. There's plenty of stuff there that goes onto the Instagram and the Facebook and the Twitter pages. So yes, do interact with those. Use the hashtag BigNerdPubQuiz when you're chatting to me. Here's next week's lineup for all you Whovians. On Thursday, we've got the Big Nerd Doctor Who quiz, and there's a guy out there who's writing that for me as well. And I'm going to be writing the Big Nerd Sci-Fi quiz, because essentially that's what this was meant to be. It wasn't meant to be a big general knowledge quiz, but yes, Big Nerd Sci-Fi quiz. I'm going to be taking joy writing that. So yes, that's next Tuesday, the 14th. And as always, we have the Big Nerd Pub Quiz itself on every Sunday night now at 8 o'clock. And give us a wee tune in to my breakfast show every morning, 7 to 10 on zestfm.co.uk. You can listen to that online. So once again, massive thank you to Angelina and Estelle for writing that amazing quiz. Really big thank you for you guys. If I ever do bump into you, I owe you a pint. Like I said, there's not more for me to say than thank you very much again. I'm going to shoot off and grab this pizza before the shut, and they did say they'd stay open just for me, so I'm going to have to fly down in my car for this. Once again, thanks a million for playing Lord of the Rings quiz. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Do stay in touch with me, and I'll see you all again for the next quiz there. It's coming up on this Sunday, the 12th of July, 2020 at 8 p.m. There's all the links there for the Patreon and PayPal. Thanks for all your support, and thanks for playing the quiz over the last couple of months. Just going to keep rocking and rolling over the next couple of weeks, like I said, and hopefully keep the quizzes going well on into the year. Thank you so much again, and I'll see you all again soon on Sunday. Have a great rest of your week and a great weekend. Good night.